It's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, always launching ideas in your direction, the Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt fucking Nelson.
Absolutely.
My voice, a reason the beautiful, sexy, talented, and very opinionated Heather Dixon.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We just had Peter Schiff on the show.
What
Wow.
else, though? We got something else cool.
No, hold on.
Peter's the man.
Peter Schiff was a fantastic guest, and he
Absolutely.
he schooled our asses on gold. But we have someone even better. Someone who is
Even better.
even better than Peter Schiff.
That's right. Peter Schiff did not bring us fried chicken.
And someone who's near and dear to our heart for, I don't know how many years now.
Yeah, he's
Going
been
on
with
to
us for a
about 2
minute
years.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a little intro before we introduce
I knew you
our
would.
guest.
I knew you would.
This individual lives in Kent, Washington, works as a project manager in the finance division for Alaska Airlines. Blank and his wife also spend their free time giving their time and money to the children in East Africa. You can visit them at lifespringafrica.com, which provides humanitarian services and projects to communities.
Some of them might be. That's okay.
Yeah,
he doesn't
that's fine.
judge.
He's that kind of guy.
Which provides humanitarian services and projects to communities. Blank and his wife were delegates in Ron Paul at Washington GOP convention in 2012. Blank ran in 2014 as a libertarian in Seattle, 36th District. Then he worked as a regional director of the Libertarian Party of Washington. And now Blank is the chairman of, hold on, before we begin. Give it up for Paul St. Addis!
Thank you very much, Johnny, and the crew. You guys are doing a great job here, and it is my honor and privilege to come back again and visit you.
Right on, man. And so, give us the news.
Well, as you know, because you were there and you spoke at our annual convention, the Libertarian Party of Washington annual convention down in Vancouver, Washington at the end of May, where my term as Region 3 director ended, and I announced there that I will now be taking over as the chairman of Blue Republican of Washington.
Yeah! Nice!
Thank you very much. And
Nice!
yeah, so it's a bit of a departure. It's still a liberty-minded group, but it's not partisan, which is the biggest change in what I'm doing. So now I can work with just about anybody that is promoting liberty and supporting liberty candidates or libertarian legislation, anything that's pushing the dial towards more liberty and less tyranny.
I loved it at the convention when you made your announcement and then you changed your shirt and had the official Blue Republican shirt on. It was like, bam, in your face.
Yeah, I got a pretty good reception. I was a little concerned with what everybody would think because, of course, for a lot of people there in the Libertarian Party, the term Republican is a kind of a bad word, a four-letter word. For some of them, they've had some bad experiences in other parties, but most of the people that talked to me at all were positive, so that was nice. And I let them know that I'm still a member of the Libertarian Party, but my activism will be done on behalf mostly now of Blue Republican.
I think that's awesome. So now, Paul Addis, St. Addis, for new listeners who may have not heard Robin Kerner, who have not heard about the Blue Republicans before, can you talk to us a little bit about what Blue Republican is?
Yeah, so Blue Republican is a little different from a lot of the liberty-oriented groups in that we're more concerned with the ideas of supporting liberty and not so much of winning purity contest, whereas you find in some groups, like especially in parties. So sometimes partisanship can get in the way of your ideals and your principles because you kind of have to defend the party and the group. It's kind of a tribalism that can happen there. So you find that when you get into partisanship. So what Blue Republican is, and by the way, Blue Republican, while it sounds like a Republican group, it's nonpartisan, and the symbol is actually half donkey, half elephant. And the color blue, of course, is the Democrat liberal color, the blue-red thing. So it's designed to show by its name, Blue Republican, and the symbol that it is actually not nonpartisan. And it's so one of the things too is we really strive to promote the idea that the liberty is the politics of love. And love basically is saying, I want for you what you want for yourself. So it's not about condemning and judging people about their beliefs. It's just to try and talk to people in their language and find common ground to say, look, we all really want freedom in the end. And so let's find a way to work together to do that. And so to me, it's a more broad-reaching, flexible, I guess you could say, a vehicle to go about promoting liberty.
You've given up your chair, your director position of the Libertarian Party of Region 3.
I'm no longer an officer in the party officially.
Okay, but you gave that up in lieu of the Blue Republican. Why did you do that, though?
Well, and at the time, too, I'll say that the Libertarian Party of Washington has been evolving somewhat in that a year ago, of course, we went from having no regions to creating these 7 regions around the state, which was to decentralize and push control down to more of a local level. And in the past year, at least since the beginning of this year in 2015, the idea of the regional directors was we wanted to start county chapters. So in my Region 3, there was a Kitsap and King County of Washington. And so this year, that's been my main focus until the end of May when I ended my term. And we actually got a functioning King County and Kitsap County chapters going. So my choice would have been to become, because I lived in King County in Seattle, was to become the chairman of the King County chapter. And I was the pro tem chairman at first because I'd got it started and there was nobody else.
Sure.
But what I decided was just not to hold any official office, because when you're out doing things in the political activism world,
right.
If you are an officer of a party, in my opinion, you're carrying that party with you. So all those people who donate to that party,
right.
all the people who are members of the party, when you speak as an officer, you're speaking for them, whether you like it or not. That's my opinion. And so it naturally then limits you to what you can and can't say. For instance, there are people who are really upset that there are officers in the Libertarian Party that are happy about Rand Paul running and saying positive things about him in social media, saying, well, you represent the Libertarian Party. Why are you supporting, so to speak, another party's candidate?
Right.
And so I think that's a valid point. And I think those people who are officers should take that seriously and not, undermine. They should be growing the party. They should be growing the party that they are an officer of in any way they can. And so anything they do, the time they spend, the money they spend to help another party in any way is obviously not helping their party. In fact, it's doing the opposite. So I decided that if I have to pick a party, if I'm going to vote, the Libertarian Party is my party. And if I'm going to run as a candidate, the Libertarian Party is going to be my party. But in my activism, I want to be free to be out there and support liberty in general, not just a party.
So you want to have more liberty in supporting liberty?
Yes, you could say that, and you'd be right.
Yeah, right on. In your opinion, though, how is the Blue Republican different than from the Libertarian Party or any other liberty organizations, like the RLC, for example?
Well, I think that, the RLC, of course, is partisan in the sense that they're Republican. They are limited to supporting, the RLC, which is the Republican Liberty Caucus, for those who don't know, that is a caucus within the Republican Party, that the Republican Liberty Caucus. Obviously, that was really a bunch of Ron Paul supporters who formed that to try and turn the Republican Party more towards Ron Paul's ideas, the libertarian philosophy. Okay. And similarly to what I guess it was the moral majority did to the Republican Party back then when they kind of moved it towards a more, fundamental evangelical right, party, which they still have some aspects of today.
Sure.
And so it's just that's what the group is there for, is to work within the party to change it. And so the RLC is more partisan than Blue Republican, that they are tied to a party. It's not that they couldn't endorse a candidate who wasn't running against a Republican, but they really are working their activities within the party.
Okay.
And so it is partisan, whereas Blue Republican is not.
Right on. Again, do you plan on running again?
Yes, I'm considering running, possibly for something like state auditor or, and the good thing is in 2016 for Libertarians in Washington, I believe we're going to have a big slate of some really good candidates. And when you're a small party like the Libertarian Party in Washington State, across the country, I think Washington State is number 8 from the top as far as states with the most libertarian members. As far as the Libertarian Party goes in the country, we're pretty up there. But compared to the Democrats and Republicans, we're a very small party. And so in Washington State, I think you're going to see some good candidates running next year in 2016 for some big offices. And I'm really wanting to put some of my effort behind some of that.
I believe it is 8th in the country country because I saw it on Facebook, so it must be true.
It's gotta
it has to
true.
be. It has to
It
be.
has
Yep.
to be. It's done. It was on Wikipedia.
That'll be debunked tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I trust Johnny.
I think,
I trust Johnny.
I'm not
It
sure
was-
where you got
it
that
was a
figure,
post that-
Heather, but
It was
Well-
a post that Pickens put up.
well, there you go.
I'm not going to argue with Michael Pickens. I'm just going to say that right now. Michael's the one that motivated me to run as a libertarian in 2014. Michael's done a lot of good things for the party, so like I say,
Yeah, Michael's a pretty badass guy.
He is.
And
He
now
is.
he has a new product that's going to be coming out pretty soon.
That's right. We're going to be full of
Yeah.
energy.
We're going to be full of energy, and I can't pass a drug test.
he's he's getting stuff done.
Nope.
And
No,
he's writing
seriously.
a book.
Yeah, he's writing a book.
He's written the book. He's busy. Again,
He's all over it. You as the Blue Republican chairman now, what is going to be some of your responsibilities and what is going to be some of your goals?
Well, Blue Republican, and especially the chapters, the state chapters, we look at ourselves as kind of like franchises of the Blue Republican system and or company, however you want to say it. And
So you're like the King County McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah. We try and duplicate our success, the successes we've had. We try and duplicate them. And so the way we look at it, the way I look at it for Washington State is basically the people who are volunteers. Let's say I would say members because you can't really pay to be a member or get a membership if you want to.
Okay.
And I refer to them as political entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So
I like that.
These people
Sounds
are out
good.
there. Again, they agree with the philosophy of Blue Republican, which is we're looking to win supporters, not arguments. Yeah. So whatever they can do, whatever they like to do, whatever they feel comfortable doing. We had a meeting with about, I don't know, there was a half a dozen of us there at the meeting when we first kicked this off, which was like the week after the Libertarian Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the people that were there basically to say, what do you like to do? What do you feel comfortable doing? And whatever that is, do it for Blue Republican. So you're volunteers. We're all volunteers. So nobody's getting paid to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the idea is that, you don't want to feel pressure. You just want to say, look, I love liberty. I want to promote it. I like talking to my friends about it. I want to set up, I got connections. I want to set up meetings for Robin or whoever to go speak at. I want to go to colleges and find out where the Students for Liberty or some group like that is and table at their events and give out our material. So basically, anything that you'd like to do or want to do. There was Michael Scott. Michael Scott.
Yeah.
He ran. He was there at the meeting. And,
We call him the Black Wizard.
He's the Black Wizard.
No, we don't.
I do.
I just
Secretly, I do. I call him the
Michael
Black
Scott,
Wizard.
the real Michael Scott. He.
No, I'm not talking like he's like the Black. He came here with a wizard
he wore
outfit.
a wizard's hat when he came on the show.
Oh, okay.
So hence the
I didn't
name.
even think of that.
I thought
I didn't even cross my
you
mind
had
to wear a
seen
hat.
him with that, but he didn't actually bring it to the
Yeah,
show,
he did.
he?
He
yeah,
did.
he wore it during the
He wore it.
Weren't you here, Kurt?
No, he probably
He
was.
brought a
That was
cooler.
back
Stone.
before we outlawed hard liquor.
He was wearing a
There's
wizard's
a
hat.
band
I forgot
now.
the
We have a
liquor. That's
prohibition
another thing I
here.
forgot. I didn't bring a hat or liquor.
He brought a cooler of beer.
He did.
He did. That I remember. See, I
Yeah, it
do
was a
remember
cooler
that.
of beer,
The
and he
last thing you
came in
remember.
with the wizard hat.
So, like, let's call him like Grand Poobah or something like that.
He's the Black Wizard, dude. What do we?
Okay,
Why do we?
well, all
commit?
right, Black Wizard is it then, or whatever.
Why does he have to
Noir
be black?
Wizard.
I'm going to call him Michael the Purple.
There you go.
It's like Gandalf the Grey, those wizards. I mean, you guys
Bam.
probably aren't Lord of the Rings fans, but
Yeah.
they have colors. I
No,
think
I dig
associated with
Lord
them.
of the
Like
Rings.
there's Saruman the White. So purple because it's blue and red, libertarian. It's kind of a mix. So he's Michael
on.
the Purple. That's the new wizard
Speaking
name.
of blue and red, though, Confederate flag.
Yeah, what's your opinion
We're
on
gonna. All right. Well, we'll talk about
Like the
Michael.
transition
Hey,
there?
I have a question for you though. We can go into it. We have about
Yes.
we got about 5 minutes.
All right, let's do it.
But regarding that, if the status here in Washington want to have their big government and
lot
tell
of
people what they can do,
Yeah.
wouldn't bakeries have to bake a Confederate flag cake if you demanded it?
if somebody who wanted to make a cake went to the bakery and told you,
I want a
yeah.
Confederate flag
Sure.
cake.
Right, and I'll pay you for it.
And then if they didn't make it, I would cry and.
But they wouldn't have to. They don't have
I
to
don't
make
think
it.
we can go to anyone.
to
We're
make
white
the-
people.
to
We
make
can't
the
really go to
correlation-
Al Sharpton or anything.
I guess you're saying it's correlated with the gay baking
Yeah,
of the cake
exactly.
or whatever. That it would
Yeah.
be like an African American establishment bakery that they'd have to go to.
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I want you to make a Confederate.
yes.
Wait a minute, just so we're clear,
I'm not going with you, John.
I'll do it.
we're not going down the road that we did before with baking cakes.
I'm frightened. My PTSD is kicking in.
Right, me too, a little bit,
Okay, no, seriously, I think we should go
Speaking
to
of
a
Kerner, because that was
Black
our Kerner
bakery.
episode.
Totally Carter. Yep.
I want to go to a black bakery and make me a Confederate flag cake.
You can't make them though because it's a free country. They don't fucking have to.
Hey, it applies to everyone else.
They
but
don't
white
have
people.
to. They don't have to.
What? Yeah,
Well, I think Johnny wants to find out if they have to.
yeah.
It's
Well,
a
you did-
worthwhile experience.
You did
experiment.
hear about that Walmart refused to make a Confederate flag cake, but
That's their
and
biggest
I
supporters,
strictly
though.
and I do believe this was out of pure ignorance. They did make an ISIS cake.
They did. It was. That's true.
This
That's
is
true.
absolutely true.
ISIS is
Wow.
messing everything up. I
Wow.
mean, from one end of the planet to the next, they are messing everything up.
Right.
Can I
and
get some of that ISIS icing on the top?
And I do absolutely believe it was out of pure ignorance that the person who took the order
Yes.
had no idea that
what
this
that
was an
was.
ISIS flag
Probably,
because
yeah.
they were watching the Kardashians or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't
There's
know.
nothing
what
wrong with the
fucking-
Kardashians.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
like,
is.
don't get me started.
But yeah, but I
Unless
mean,
should we talk about Caitlyn?
I don't know
but
anything about the
they're
Kardashians.
trying to exercise their rights, all right, at the time when we were talking about them saying, hey, the bakery doesn't have to bake a cake if they don't want to, if it offends them. Any private business has the right to say, I don't want to do this for you.
Yes, that is the libertarian angle on that.
Absolutely.
Story, yes.
And what I'm saying is I'm kind of using it against them, their own logic against
to make a
them.
point.
To make a point. No, I don't think if a black business feels offended by the Confederate flag, we don't have to force anyone
course
to
not.
do that.
Of course not.
But what I'm saying is, how come the gay rights community had so much leeway on that and everyone else gets fucked? They don't want equality.
Well, that kind of goes into
They want superiority.
with the whole Supreme Court ruling that you cannot ban gay marriage. Gay marriage is now legal in all the states. That their ruling actually supports that you're free to have a weapon, that you can all your concealed weapon
Sure.
permits would be legal on that same ruling.
Well, this kind of goes into, before we don't have much time, but we could talk about it on the next segment, but we can lead into it with kind of like the same thing that happened with the civil rights of 1965.
Yeah.
The same blanket kind of laws are being implemented by the federal government. It should be more of a state issue. I'm all for those liberties and freedoms. I don't know the culture of that state or particular town. So why are we having all these blanket laws?
Well, I think it comes down to what is a liberty, what's a natural right, what's a constitutionally protected
Exactly.
I agree.
right.
Exactly.
I agree.
And I think that's what it comes down to. And then again, it gets into what is liberty, in fact, and the due process, which is one of the things that they used in the majority decision in the marriage equality decision from the Supreme Court was the due process clause. And that same clause is in the Fifth Amendment. And in there, it's definitely talking about physical restraint, being either imprisoned or physically restrained from your liberty. And the thing that the court has always upheld, if that's what it means in the Fifth Amendment, that's what it means in the 14th Amendment. So the due process, and basically due process just means, like, for instance, you can't actually take somebody's liberty away. The government can take somebody's liberty away. You can put people in jail if they murder somebody.
Absolutely.
So the
I'm with you
question
on that.
isn't, the question really isn't, can the government take your liberty away? Even a liberty like freedom of speech or freedom of whatever. I mean, you can take liberty away, like freedom to roam around, by putting them in jail. And we can put people in jail. But there's a process to do that with. And the people are due that, whatever that process is, like a trial with your jury of your peers. Well, that's a process. And so you are due that process. If we're going to take your liberty away, you are due that process. That's what the process is.
Right, I'm totally tracking.
And so the idea that with the game, we can get into a lot of this in the next segment.
Yeah, let's get into it in the next segment.
Definitely with the gay marriage thing, marriage equality, there was no physical restraint, certainly, in that people weren't being physically restrained from having private ceremonies or religious ceremonies or whatever. It really had more to do with the plaintiffs. One of their main issues was that they were married in another state that recognized it and actually gave benefits to people who were married. And then they went back to another state, and that state wouldn't recognize the marriage that was done in the other state that did recognize it. So it was more about asking the states to not just, because the liberty to be married, they had the freedom to have private ceremonies. It was more about those benefits that come with being recognized by the state. So yeah, it was more about, I think the decision was more saying the states couldn't give one group a benefit and disadvantage another group and not give them the same benefit. But of course, we have that with things like welfare. I mean, like, I can't say, well, my neighbor gets a welfare check, so I should get that as well, because, you know, and try and make it a liberty issue or a due process issue.
Anyways, always launching ideas in your direction, the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson.
That's right. Hey, everybody, don't forget to go to Glass Doctor of Seattle so they can diagnose your home, auto, and business glass. Mention the Johnny Rocket Launchpad for 10% off your service. See what the Glass Doctor can do for you at www.glassdoctorseattle.com.
And I'm here with my voice of reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
And you can listen to us at libertymovementradio.com Fridays and Mondays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
And this is Johnny Rocket, always launching ideas in your direction. Check us out at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com, your hub for everything libertarian. We got blogs, we got music, we got links to all of our shows. Check us out. And we're going to be right back. We got a woman's place, so stick around.